Hi, soul friends. It's Tanasa Saintpor, and welcome back to another short solo episode of the Minutes on Growth podcast. Today's episode is inspired by something that happened on a recent trip that Ash and I took to New Brunswick. And for those who are unfamiliar with Canadian provinces, it's on the east coast of Canada, and it is so beautiful. The photos online do not do it justice. And there is this beautiful part in New Brunswick called the Bay of Fundy, which eventually connects to the ocean. And the Bay of Fundy is known for its high tides, highest tides in the world. And throughout the day, it oscillates between low tide, mid tide, and high tide. And the best part is when it's mid tide or high tide, you can go kayaking. And so that's what we decided to do. We decided to do a guided kayak tour at the Bay of Fundy. And honestly, I thought it was just going to be another fun afternoon in nature. I did not realize that it's going to be therapy for me. And that's what I love about life when we can take these ordinary moments that we have throughout the day and allow them to reveal the most extraordinary things about ourselves. So there were like about, I think, 12 or 14 people on the tour with three guides. And within the first 15 minutes, Ash and I noticed that we kept drifting farther and farther behind everyone else. And one of the guides stayed with us the entire time because they never wanted anyone paddling alone. And almost immediately, I noticed something happening inside of me. I kept saying, Ash, come on, we need to paddle faster. And we're holding everyone up. We're making him stay behind because of us. I was saying that in Farsi. I just couldn't relax. I couldn't fully enjoy where I was because I was so focused on where everyone else was. Meanwhile, Ash having a complete opposite experience. He kept smiling and saying, why? Look around. This is beautiful. Slow down. And so I would. I'd look up the cliffs, the water, the silence. I'd take one deep breath. I'd really allow myself to immerse fully into the present moment. And then my eyes would wander back to the group and I'd be like, falling behind again. And this became the cycle until I finally turned to our guide and I apologized. I said, I am so sorry that we're slowing you down. I feel bad that you have to stay back with us. And his response completely shifted something inside of me. He smiled and said, don't worry. I get to spend more time on water and I love being on the water. That's it. That one sentence, but it hit me because the entire story I had been carrying was a story that I had written in my own mind, which reminded me of something I often tell my clients. Every situation in life is an opportunity to get to know yourself better if you allow it to. Not because life is constantly testing us, but because life is constantly reflecting us. Someone cuts you off in traffic, someone doesn't text back, your partner forgets something important, a coworker gives you feedback, you fall behind on a kayak tour. None of these situations create our beliefs, they reveal them. And what that kayaking experience revealed to me was a younger part of myself, the part that learned don't be difficult, don't inconvenience people, don't burden people, be easy, don't take up too much space, don't need too much, don't slow anyone down. That part of me, she wasn't thinking about the scenery. She was thinking about survival. Because when we're triggered, our nervous system doesn't respond to what's happening. It responds to what something reminds us of. And that's why I love parts work. whether it's IFS or schema, but really parts work allows us to become so curious with these different parts within us that are responding to life or reacting to life. Anyways, afterwards, I found myself wondering something else. How many people on the tour were rushing? Not because they wanted to, but because somewhere along the way, perhaps we have learned that faster is better, that productivity equals worth, that slowing down means falling behind. And then I thought, isn't that exactly what so many of us are doing in life right now? We're rushing through breakfast. We're rushing conversations. We're rushing weekends. We're rushing vacations. We're rushing childhood. We might even be rushing healing, always thinking about what's next, always arriving somewhere without actually being where we already are. Sometimes we move through life so quickly that we miss the life that we're trying so hard to build. I think it's important. I think it's important to note that somewhere along the way, our culture confused slowing down with laziness, but they're not the same thing. Slowing down doesn't mean doing less. It means becoming more present. It means allowing yourself to actually experience your own life, to taste your coffee, to notice the trees, to hear your child's laughter, to really listen when someone is talking, to feel the sunshine instead of photographing it. Presence is not passive. Presence is participation. So I want to note that I think one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves is curiosity. Instead of asking, why am I like this? Ask, what part of me just showed up? What is this moment trying to teach me? What belief or what part just got activated? Maybe your story is, I have to earn love. Maybe it's, I can't disappoint people, or I have to be perfect, or I have to be useful, or I can't ask for help. Every trigger becomes information, not evidence that something is wrong with you, but an invitation to know yourself more deeply. I also kept thinking about our guide, and because nowhere in that interaction did he experience me the way I was experiencing myself. He wasn't annoyed. He wasn't impatient. He wasn't wishing we'd hurry up. He was simply enjoying more time doing something he loved. And how often do we assume we're burdening people when that story only exists in our own minds? How many unnecessary pressures do we place on ourselves because we're living inside assumptions instead of reality? And remember, reality is subjective. So this week, I'd love to invite you to slow down, not because life isn't important, but because it is important. So take 5 extra minutes on your walk, eat one meal without your phone, watch one sunset with your partner, sit outside, drive without rushing, and maybe even ask yourself, what part of me is showing up right now? Because every moment, even something as simple as a kayak tour, can become an opportunity for us to know ourselves a little more deeply. So, soul friends, I will leave you with this. Life is not a race to the finish line. The goal is not to get through it as quickly as possible. The goal is to actually be here for it, to notice it, to experience it, to allow yourself to move at a pace where you can fully receive your own life. Because sometimes the most beautiful views are found by the people who aren't rushing past them. Thank you so much for spending these few minutes and moments with me, soul friends. Until next time, slow down. Your life is happening.